Hi, I'm Captain Gregg.
Ahoy hoy, I'm Captain Boomies, and we are on the Solaris Power 44 Open.
In this video, we're going to take a look at the technical aspects and performance of this beautiful Italian-made yacht. Let's get after it.
Most Americans are unfamiliar with the brand Solaris, but in Europe, the name stands for exquisite quality and premium yachts. Founded in 1974 near Venice, the company is celebrating its 50th anniversary. During its first 3 decades, it built sailboats from 36 to 111 feet, which travel the world. In 2008, Solaris began building power boats, and right from the start, they were said by many to be the most beautiful day boats on the water. Now it builds 9 power boats from 40 to 60 feet, and it won't be long until a new 70-footer is launched. Because of the builder's experience building sailboats for the aristocracy of Europe, who expect every detail to be done to perfection, it's little wonder that the Solaris powerboats are a work of art. As we go through the boat, pay special attention to the details of the fiberglass moldings, the rounded corners, the perfect fit and finish. All the cockpit doors are perfectly aligned. The remarkable metallic painted surfaces and the stainless fixtures, all first class. It's pretty clear to me that the culture of Solaris from management to the shop floor is perfection at any cost.
The Italians really have an eye for design. One of the things that I like about this boat is the contrasting hard, sharp lines with nice round curves. Here's an example. A cleat that pulls up, nice square rectangular, next to a very rounded, heavy stainless steel door. Given the multinational market for Solaris power yachts, there's been a lot of thought given to how languages are written and also the use of images to be able to support what needs to be done. Perfect example is right here on the controls for the side balconies. You have to hit the first one, this button raises, this button lowers.
That's so much easier than a pulley and a lock and all that hard stuff. And now you've opened this whole entertaining space. You can go for a swim.
There's this large aft sun pad. It's 82 inches across and 76 inches long. Plenty of room for 3, if not 4 people. This entire hatch raises up with a button on the starboard side for extra storage.
So inside here we have our carbon fiber poles that we'll set up if we want extra shade on the bow. Life ring and these nice storage compartments that we could do things like take this fender and pop it into a slot.
There's a full beam swim platform that retracts.
It also is a button.
There's a hydraulic drop-down swim platform that measures 49 inches fore and aft and 153 inches wide.
Inside the gunnel on the port side coming up from the swim platform, we have a connection for external water and a shower, both covered with nicely machined stainless steel covers.
There is a teak table in the center of the seating area. Pull-out supports hold the fold-out wings. And the table raises and lowers with just the push of a button.
There's one more button I want to talk about, and it's for the sunshade. Press this, and you've got more shade on your dining area. There's a beautiful little design detail that they added in here, and it's these loops that help catch and hold my sunshade so it doesn't go flapping all over. Now that I've got shade, I might want a beverage. So it's not a bad idea to have extra drink storage space, and that's my lunch for later. There's additional storage in the center. And on this one, they've gone for an optional extra refrigerator. Under here, they put a grill. In here is a refrigerator. In here, an ice maker, a wet bar. This little fold-out sink is so adorable. And this cutting board lifts up to show you the rest of the sink. This one's particularly fun. There's a little espresso machine. How Italian.
Solaris decided to take an extension off of this cabinet Centerline with a large post that supports a carbon fiber T-top with 6 feet 7 inches of headroom underneath. Now, this entire structure is carbon fiber, which means it's really light and really sturdy. And I think this adds a lot to the design of the open concept, not having any kinds of handrails along the side. Now, I did notice one drawback when docking. I found that when I was backing, I had to move my head a little bit to one side or the other because of this on centerline, but there's great visibility to both of the stern quarters. So Captain Boomies, what do you think about the helm layout?
My first impression was that there's not that much going on here to distract from the things that I need. The VHF, all of my switches, these 16-inch displays. I need my controls. They gave me 2 USB and USB-C ports and cup holders, very important for a thirsty captain. And they did give me a dead center line compass. And when I'm standing here at the helm, it feels like the right height for somebody like me. I'm 5'6", but I could use this little step up and sit a little bit higher if I want just a touch more visibility. But honestly, I was pretty comfortable down here too.
Now, Volvo Penta sometimes puts the shifters and the joystick on the same side. What they've chosen to do here is have one on either side of the wheel. Now, it took me just a second to get used to running the joystick with my left hand, but it's so easy to use. It was literally just a second or two. It also is very easy to use with your right hand when you're turning around looking aft. The steering wheel has a button that allows a lot of flexibility, probably a range of motion through almost 45 degrees. There are 3 seats across the helm. Another thing I like about the design is it's symmetrical and it's on center line. Each one of them has a moving bolster, and the center one has a control that allows you to bring the seat forward and aft.
As we head towards the bow, you'll notice the courtesy lighting down low, and this gunnel is almost 2 feet 9 inches tall right here at its tallest point, but it's going to change as we walk towards the bow. But it's a no-step bow, and along through here, the width is 1 foot 4 inches, which is plenty big for me. And then when we arrive on the bow, there's this bunny pad. Whee! Those are fun. Little pop-up lights for extra romantic anchoring. Something I've noticed throughout this yacht is that all of the cushions are thick. As I pull this up, you'll notice, look how much depth there is to that cushion. Comfy, lumpy. All the way forward is this little seat that I'm calling the adventure seat, because that's what it feels like. Even farther forward, you have access to this hatch, which includes storage for your fenders and access to the anchor chain. Putting your fenders away is super simple. You don't have to tie anything on. You can just pop one of these in, and then you have easy access later. Brilliant, love that. This windlass can be operated from the helm or with the remote up here. Italian styling, not to be outdone. This piece of stainless right here is stylistically imitated all throughout the boat down the center line, with the top side making like a fast stripe. Makes it look like it's a much faster boat than it is. That styling continues all the way to the very stern.
There are 4 carbon fiber stanchions that go on the bow to support a sunshade. A couple of clips. Nice and light. To put the stanchions in, simply push in on this nice stainless steel holding section, make sure the pin is lined up, good to go.
And as I leave the bow, you'll notice that I'm just gliding down this no-step deck, 1 level. Let's head below. Coming below, we have our light switches up here and all of our power switches right there. And I can come down just a few steps to our first bit of storage. I love these cabinets because they have such a nice track. Very well made. Under here is some more storage with these latches that press down and open up really cleanly. The height of the overheads at the lowest is 6'3", but it slopes up into these skylights right here. The main berth in this cabin is 64 by 78 inches. There's other configurations optional where you could have a table here and a U-shaped settee instead. This version includes USB outlets and reading lights. Something I always like to see in a cabin is a full height closet so that I can hang my fabulous outfits. Inside the head, I really enjoy that they gave me a skylight and a full big shower. Something that's going to be hard on my cameraman, but I really enjoy, is this mirror that takes up as much of this bulkhead as possible. I love that. In the aft cabin, there's 4 foot 5 inches from the floor to here, but there's this slope in that lets you stand all the way up. And then I have more skylights. I can see the helm from up here. The aft cabin also has storage. And in this drawer, another very satisfying slide track. On the port side is a berth that could sleep 2. It's 56 inches wide and 77 inches long. But this is just one option. As you can see in this drawing, you can also have port and starboard single berths.
Access to the engine room is on the starboard side through the deck. 2 latches, easy to get down. Now, it's not a huge engine room, but I'm actually impressed with how much space there is around all of the components and how accessible all the components are for a 44-foot boat. It is 3 feet 3 inches and about 12 feet 9 inches on the beam from side to side. In between and outboard of the engines, you have about 14 inches. So it's not too bad to actually get back there to access the IPS drive heads, where there's plenty of space aft. Front and center are obviously the Volvo Penta IPS 650 engines. Starting in the port aft corner, we have the holding tank with a macerator pump. We have the hydraulic pump. We have the water tank that houses both hot and cold water. We've got 3 batteries, 1 for the generator and 2 for the port engine. We've got this 317-gallon fuel tank, stainless steel, on center line. Raycor filters for both the port and starboard engines, as well as a filter for the Kohler 9.5 kilowatt generator. On the starboard side, starting forward, we've got a connection space for all of the critical connection points, the battery charger, an AC and DC breaker box for the major breakers, 3 more batteries, 2 for the starboard engine and 1 house. Now there's only 3 inches of clearance above the engine, which is a little tight, but I guess it's to be expected in a boat of this size. A couple of things to note. Here's the integrated raw water strainer. The intake for this goes back through the head of the IPS drive. It's got 1 single clamp on it. I like to see more than 1 point of failure on everything, so maybe seeing some wing nuts on here might be nice, but this makes it very accessible. It is a little bit of a challenge to get this dipstick out, and it will be a 2-handed process, as you have to basically bend it at a 90-degree angle, and you don't want to flip oil all over the inside of the boat. Volvo Pentas have this clip mechanism on the oil stick. Pops in and clicks. I have seen people who don't get the dipstick quite all the way in, and back pressure from the engine can pop it up far enough that it sprays oil throughout the inside of the engine room. Access to the twin oil filters is quite good.
The Solaris Power 44 Open has a length overall of 44 feet 2 inches. She has a beam of 14 feet 3 inches with a draft of 3 feet 4 inches. Her empty displacement is 25,353 pounds. The fuel capacity is 317 US gallons and the water capacity is 87 US gallons. She comes standard with twin Volvo Penta D6 IPS 500s There are options for Volvo Penta D6 IPS 600s or 650s, which our test boat was equipped with. The average top speed in our test was 34 knots or 39.1 miles per hour. The ideal cruise was 26 knots or 29.9 miles per hour, giving her a range of 243 nautical miles while she was burning 30.5 gallons per hour.
How did the 44 feel to you when you were driving her?
You know, it's a very, very solid boat. We didn't have much of a sea state today, so, you know, it was pretty smooth. The test conditions were probably 8 to 10 knots. It's about 80 degrees out. Kind of a picture-perfect day in western Long Island Sound. Quite responsive on the helm. She accelerated very nicely.
I was doing some exciting turns just to see what I could push this boat to accomplish. And what I found was at planing speeds, she's gonna make a much softer turn, but I kind of liked that because it snugged me into these bolsters in the seats, and it just felt like a softer ride. I wasn't aggressive in any of it. It wouldn't let me be. When it came to the flat out runs, yeah, we hit our own wake a few times, and when she's up on plane, I felt almost nothing.
I found the seats to be very comfortable while running, and I liked this footrest that seemed to be in the perfect position. I found that for me, it was best to run with the bolster up, sitting on top of the bolster. I felt like my eye line was just a little too low, given where her pitch angle was when I had the bolster down, sitting in the seat. It's also very, very comfortable to stand, and I like the adjustable steering wheel that allows me at basically any one of those positions to have the steering wheel directly in front of me. With the 16-inch screen, even, you know, we're probably 4 feet away from it, you can see all of the information that you would want to see.
I agree. They're large enough to be effective and yet not intrusive.
One other thing that I noticed while running is that there wasn't really much wind through this T-top. I think they did a really nice job with the design of the windscreen so that they got a nice flow over the top of the T-top. The one thing that I didn't care as much for, which is actually very common in these style of boats, is where it's got the wraparound window, there's a little bit of a convex visualization effect. So you have to kind of make sure that you're looking outside of the windshield occasionally, just because there's a tiny bit of distortion around the curve.
That's a fair thing to be concerned about, but good seamanship says you're always supposed to have your head on a swivel anyway.
There's an optional spray hood which connects to the top of the windscreen here and then up to the T-top. Now, we didn't have much of a seaway, but it seems to me from running the boat today, there would probably almost never be any spray. It was a very solid running boat that seemed to take the seas very well.
We have the Volvo Penta docking system that I love. It's a joystick. I feel the wind blowing us a tiny bit sideways, but it's not a lot. It's certainly not something that this joystick can't handle. So let me just spin her right here. And I look good doing it. It's sensitive to how much you rotate it. I could go harder, but in general, it's not a great idea when you're in a close quarters situation to move faster than you need to. If you're docking right, it's boring. That's how you know you're doing it right, is if you're totally bored. Too easy, right? Beautiful.
Captain Boomies, what did you think of the Solaris 44 Open?
I think she's an Italian darling with so much style and a really comfortable ride.
Yes, I was really impressed with the way this boat performed. And for me, I love the design. I love that combination of hard lines, sharp edges, yet with some really nice rounded flares. I think she's absolutely beautiful.
Another one of the things that sets this boat apart is her remarkable paint job. Not only will paint keep the boat looking brand new far longer than gel coat, but you can also choose from among these exciting metallic finishes.
For Boat Test, I'm Captain Boomies.
And I'm Captain Gregg.
And we gotta remind you,
Life is better on a boat.